Rand is above 7 Rand to the US dollar. We had rates unchanged yesterday. Interesting comments out of Jill Marcus that we will be seeing reserve accumulation. And I was chatting to James Turp from Nedbank yesterday, and he said there was a lot of talk in the market that the Reserve Bank was in fact buying up dollars yesterday, and in fact has been doing so since the beginning of the month.
Good morning, Eleni. Yes, indeed, it seems so that the Reserve Bank has been quite aggressive in purchasing those dollars. And for the first time that I can remember in terms of an MPC statement, the bank emphatically stated that it would accumulate reserves going forward. So I think we're in a new paradigm now, and even though the Reserve Bank didn't cut interest rates, which would of course have made it cheaper for them to accumulate reserves, I think there's a very strong message coming through the market, and I think that's why we're starting to see some of these portfolio flows reverse, because in the past the South African authorities have been one of the few emerging market currencies that haven't done a hell of a lot to stem excessive currency appreciation. But I think the tide is turned now, and we've seen outflows from our bond market, and yesterday of course we saw the equity market selling off, and that of course was partly a function of global developments, but also perhaps a few of the equity guys were disappointed that the Reserve Bank didn't cut interest rates or didn't provide a very dovish MPC statement.
Well, you know, Michael, when you see how the Rand has been performing relative to other currencies, I mean the euro and the dollar, we've performed relatively badly, especially against the euro, and also when you see relative to other emerging market currencies, we've also done quite badly. But a little bit of strength yesterday against the Turkish lira after the Turkish Central Bank unexpectedly cut rates by 25 basis points. Just give us an indication of what that spells for the emerging markets going forward, and the fact that we're seeing some emerging markets hiking rates and others worried about inflation and keeping rates on hold, also just perhaps saying, well, growth is more important and let's drop rates.
Yeah, Turkey is one of those outliers because the predominant surge in emerging market rates is upward because of those inflationary concerns, and we did see the lira weakening, but you're quite right, the Rand is weak across the board. We're down around 6% on a trade-weighted basis for the year to date, and that is mainly a function of our weakness against the euro, which is forms the biggest part of our trade-weighted basket. So yes, the Rand weak across the board, and Turkey really the only outlier. I think South Africa was also kind of in that camp. There was a chance that we could see rates dropping further to try and stem currency appreciation, but that didn't happen. And I think although the statement yesterday was quite balanced, I think the market is probably interpreting that interest rate cuts are now a thing of the past, and the next move is probably going to be up. We've seen that in the bond curve, we've seen it in the swap curve. All of those have drifted higher, so I think the cycle there has turned as well.
Let's look at the Rand forecast. We know in your brief this morning you were talking about if we breach 710 or so, we could retest 717. What are your thoughts heading into the weekend?
Yeah, 717 would be the next kind of key technical level, and thereafter 722, which is a very big level. That's the 200-day moving average, and of course if we breach that to the top side, then it suggests that we've entered into a bearish trend for the Rand, and the dollar is probably going to make more strides against the dollar. But you know, we have, as we've discussed already, seen considerable Rand appreciation already, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of profit taking. Maybe we retreat back down to around the 7 Rand handle, 698. But I think the underlying bias is a negative one for the Rand, and that would be setting into any weakness.